We're here in Rio de Janeiro, and I guarantee you this will be an unforgettable experience as you get to taste the food, the culture, have experiences with the historical aspect of Brazil. That's right, one of the major parts of the African diaspora. And guess what? We want you to join us here in Brazil. The views are amazing, the food is spectacular, and the experience is unforgettable. And the only thing that's missing is you. Join us.
Hello everyone, my name is Naledi Mfoloe and it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you to the latest edition of the African Diaspora News Channel. Now, we need to pay very close attention to what's happening in Kenya right now because this, I believe, is not a Kenyan story alone, but this right here is an African story. And more than that, this is a Black sovereignty story. Now, a while ago, Kenya signed what the United States proudly called a landmark, which is $2.5 billion health aid deal, which, if we think about it, is the kind of deal that gets champagne poured in Washington, headlines written in Western media, and a press release filled with words like partnership and support. But this week, a Kenyan court slammed the brakes. And why? Because buried inside that shiny aid package is something far more dangerous than a budget line item, which is our data, our bodies, and our illnesses and our lives that are digitalized, that are stored and potentially accessed by foreign power. And Kenya's High Court said not so fast. Let's watch.
Sometimes, like you see, what the president of Kenya has done with the United States of America is something new, because it's captured. It emanates from the aspect of removing the role of NGOs, whereby you find that most of the affected groups in court could be the NGOs, and the monies which are supposed to be directed to the government. And there was a very, very delicate question which is raised about this agreement, whether Kenyans will be used like guinea pigs in terms of the tests which have been done. Of course, there are tests which have been done in conjunction with the Kenyan government and the USA in laboratory in tests about diseases and all these other things. There are some apprehension that maybe the way the agreement has been signed, there are other nitty-gritties which need to be known before it's effected, especially transfer of Kenyans' health information data to the United States. Those are some of the challenges.
Now, the court has suspended parts of this deal, specifically any section that allows for the transfer, sharing, or anything of sensitive personal health data that includes medical records and deeply personal health details. I mean, we're talking about things like HIV status, TB treatment history, vaccination records, the most intimate information a person can have. And I do believe that this wasn't paranoia or social media hysteria, but this was a legal challenge brought by Consumer Federation of Kenya, which is a consumer rights lobby that warned the country was at risk of ceding strategic control of its health system, especially pharmaceuticals and digital infrastructure and cloud storage that are externally controlled. So, in other words, this isn't aid, but it is leverage. And as Africans, we know this pattern too well. They once took our land, claiming development. They took our resources, branding it as investment. And now, in the 21st century, they want our data. This is digital colonization. And don't let the suits and spreadsheet fool you, because under this agreement, the US would contribute $1.7 billion, while Kenya puts in $850 million and gradually assumes the responsibility of funding its own health system. So on paper, it does sound reasonable, but here's the catch. Under the US new global health aid strategy, Washington is moving away from multilateral aid agency and instead signing direct government-to-government deals. I do believe that's not accidental, because direct deals means less oversight and more pressure and greater control. And since signing with Kenya, the US under Donald Trump's administration has rushed to ink similar agreements with Rwanda, with Lesotho, with Uganda. Same model, same language, same imbalance. Now let's talk about why this data issue matters so much. Because health data is not neutral. It is political. It is strategic. Whoever controls health data controls disease modeling, controls pharmaceutical markets, we know this, controls vaccine distribution, and ultimately does control national health policy. So if your data is stored on foreign controlled cloud infrastructure and governed by foreign laws and analyzed by foreign institution, then your sovereignty is compromised, no matter how many flags you wave. Now, this is why Kenyans raised the alarm, and this is why the court stepped in. Now, Kenya's health minister says that the government will comply with the court order, but will also challenge it. He insists that the ruling only affects data sharing clauses and not the entire agreement. He also reassures citizens that Kenya's sovereignty, data ownership, and intellectual property are protected. Now, President William Ruto says that the agreement was examined with a tooth comb and that Kenyan law will prevail over Kenyan data. But here's the thing. If everything was so airtight, then why would the court intervene at all? Because courts don't move like this over nothing. And notice something else. The United States has said nothing about these data privacy concerns, no clarification, no public commitment, just silence. Now, this Kenyan ruling, I believe, is not embarrassment, but it is a warning shot to Africa, to the global south, and to every Black nation being offered help with invisible strings attached. We are not anti-cooperation at all. We are not anti-science, and we are certainly not anti-health. But what we are anti is any arrangement where African lives are reduced to data sets for foreign power. Now, this is where the line is drawn in the sand. Us fighting for sovereignty and dignity and control of our futures, and them, of course, rebranding empire as assistance and control as collaboration and extraction as aid. Now, Kenya's court has done what African institutions must do more often, which is put the people first. And as Black South Africans watching this unfold, we should not just applaud, we should learn. Because if they can come for Kenya's health data today, they can come for us tomorrow. And the question is simple. Will we sign away our sovereignty for funding, or will we finally say our data, our bodies, and our continents are not for sale? Now, that is it from me today. I do want to hear what your thoughts are on this. Please, let's continue the conversation in the comment section. And while you're at it, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. That's it from me till we meet again. It is bye-bye for now.